see it, but I don't see it. There it is.
Okay, so we'll just keep going. People can hop on as we go. All right, so tonight is going to be a training designed for your profiles, specifically speaking, your presentation on your profiles. And this is something that we wanted to, because I've done a Zoom with my team specifically with this, but I wanted to do it so that it was recorded for everybody that joins us in this, because this is something that we can all like learn. But also, as you go along, you can kind of switch it up and you can do new things and add new looks to your page and kind of refresh ever so often and really work on that. I truly believe that Instagram, especially, is just like a growing thing. Like what we did last year is not even important this year, right? Because it's always changing. There's always something new to be using. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is just constantly be like going with what they're putting out, right? So this training specifically is for how to make your page more aesthetically pleasing, cohesive, and really eye-popping. Um, you'll never hear us say like you need to have a picture perfect look or anything like that. However, this is your business, right? You are presenting a business, you are presenting yourself, and you are presenting what you're offering someone. So it needs to look, to an extent, professional. It needs to pop. It needs to be cohesive. It does actually make a difference. So this is why we want to do a training on this. This is important. And like I said, you can constantly be evolving in this and growing in this, learning new things, applying new things. It's not something you're going to do overnight, but it's something that is going to actually benefit your business, especially if you take what you learned tonight and kind of take little pieces and grow with it, okay? So I don't want you to become overwhelmed. The stuff that we're going to talk about tonight, like Jess and I, we've been doing this for, well, at least 2 years for our company, but really kind of learning filters and how to pose and things like that for a while now. If I'm being honest, I've always loved to pose ever since I was a little girl, but it's brought so much to your network and to your brand and to those things. So we want to make sure that you guys are getting as much knowledge as we have and passing it down and duplicating that down. And we're going to do this tonight. Okay, so what I want to do is just kind of go over the apps I use and how I use them, why I use them, what makes a difference. So when I started doing this, I didn't realize, like, everybody knows like a filter. Yes, Instagram has their own filters, and things like that. But the more I got into it, the more I started to learn about it. I learned, that there's presets. So a preset is, it's like almost like a cocktail, so to say, that you can put over your pictures so that every picture looks very similar. So it looks almost the same. Instead of you using different colors and different filters on every single picture, you use the same one and it makes your whole page cohesive looking, right? I have found, though, even with a preset, and let's just quickly say presets, you can buy those anywhere, guys. So many people have their own presets. You can go on Etsy and find presets. You can go on Pinterest. You can find those everywhere. And if you guys have recommendations, drop them in the chat so that people can see that, where you got your presets from. And you can take that and use that with your app called Lightroom. And that's what I do. So who is Galaxy S9? Yeah, I don't know who it is, but hopefully they're part of our team. So you can use those presets and use that in the app called Lightroom. And you can copy your preset to your picture. So you upload your picture there, and then you can copy your preset over that picture so that it all looks very similar. For me specifically, I play around with mine. Every picture has different lighting, right? So learning your lighting and learning that kinds of stuff, it's going to take time, and this is where you're going to figure it out. You can play around with your lighting. You can play around with a bunch of different things in Lightroom, and that's what I personally do. So Lightroom is what I use. I use a preset. The app is called Filter. You buy them from M. Okay, so there's a couple of you, yeah, that get, because M does have her own. She works together with someone named Shannon, and they have their own like presets they sell. Those are great ones. But like I said, you can get those online anywhere, really. Just type in presets and see if you can find something that you think kind of represents you. There are so many, guys. Bright, dark, light. You can go, you can find what works for you and what works for your like frequent settings. It's like right now, everybody pretty much is indoors, right? We're all in our homes. We're working with the best light we can, fine. And for me, I'm like, okay, how many different pictures can we take inside this house or like on the outside of my house, right? So we're kind of trying to figure out that right now. But what I do is kind of really just kind of work with the lighting depending on if it's natural light or if I've used a ring light and I'm inside, that kinds of stuff. But that's where you're going to find that in your Lightroom app. You can find that there. Another thing that I used in the beginning and before I had a preset, I made my own preset. And so this is something that I actually still use on Facebook. Sometimes I don't use a preset. I use something that I've already created. And I use the app called VSCO. And you pay one time, I think. It's like an annual thing because I think mine's renewing soon. And what you can do is go in and you can look. Here, let me see if I can pull it up because honestly, I think I have to redo mine. But yeah, I do create my own. If you guys ever seen, I have like a pink one. That's like one of my favorites. I love my pink filter. But I did go and create it, and I'm going to tell you how I did it because this is something that you guys can play around with. You're not set to one look. You can create your own. You can figure out what works for you, your vibe, who you are. But play around with it. Yeah, I have to unlock my presets because it's been a year. So let's see if I can figure this out. Dang it, it's gonna make me join right now, seriously. Anyways.
Well, while you do that, do you want me to show you this? This is just like a key example as to why presets are important. I'm actually not sure if you'll be able to see this on the phone, but maybe we'll try. Can we see how, like, this isn't a good example at all, guys. This is some random chick's Facebook, Instagram. I don't know who this is at all, but actually in the screen, it kind of looks like her pictures have the same colors, but they don't. It's just kind of like you can't differentiate. Is that the word? That didn't sound like it. Differentiate. Is that the word? I'll keep trying. Like from what? She just like has two that are almost exactly the same. And then there's a lot of people happening. She's got a lot of friends, guys. I do, obviously this one does not, but like then you look at Shay's, you can tell how like just creating a look to your page will give you such a different vibe when someone's just looking at it at first glance. It's just bright, it's clean, it gives it that cohesive look. And it kind of like somehow separates the pictures, I feel like. So I don't know if you have your app up now, but I was gonna.
I just
she bought it for us, guys. That's
how quickly you
committed.
So VSCO, I just joined so I could show you guys those. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so you can see my picture, but down here, these are all the filters I've created. These are all mine. If you want to buy one, no, I'm just gonna. But you can't really see the difference here, but some of them, so this is how I did it, guys. Sorry, I get really off track, sorry, and I don't mean to, but you can go to Pinterest and type in VSCO presets, and you can even type in like pink preset or a blue, light blue look. There's so many different ones, and they'll pull it up and you'll see, like, let's see if we can do it. I want to see if I can show you. I'm sorry if this is taking time, but this is why I want to do this, because I know this is important and people, VSC filters, pink. Okay, so there's pink aesthetic, pink pastel, pink and blue. You can just push one of those, okay? And it's gonna pull up all these different ones that it's gonna show you the pictures. And a lot of them show you like what this vibe looks like. And then it gives you what I like to call the cocktail, because it tells you how to create this. So you're gonna take this little cocktail and your recipe, I guess we could call it, and you're gonna go back into the VSCO and you do this. You'll find the filter and you go through the filter, you find C1 and you're gonna put it to +6. It's so easy to do, guys. And then you do all of that and then you save it. And when you save it as a preset to your VSCO, you can go in and upload your photo and you're like, oh, let me go to my saved ones right here. That's the one I want to use. And it's gonna apply it to your picture. And then you can save it from there. So if you don't want to buy someone's preset, and then you can do it that way. You can go on Pinterest, you can find what works for the vibe you're looking for. I fell in love because I saw like Khloe Kardashian, she has a very pinky, purpley, like cotton candy look to her page. It's like heavenly. And that's when I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And so I did do something very similar to that, not the same, but similar, with like the pink vibe for a while. And I loved it. I loved the way it looked, but then I switched it up because like, whenever we go on trips and stuff, I like to have more blues going through because I know I'm going to be by the ocean or with blue sky. And so I really want to pull with that. Now this seems really in detail, but like I've grown in this. This isn't something I just learned overnight. I've had to figure this out as I go, but this is why I want to share it with you, because I had to figure this out. Like I figured it out as I went. But so if this can help anybody, I hope that like me sharing it can do that and help our teams as they come in, because this is like, yes, Jess.
Can I add something too?
Yeah.
I think it's really important to keep in mind, like Shay had mentioned this, but sometimes when you go on Pinterest, all of them look really pretty, right? Like the blues, the pinks. I mean, if you're an Instagram blogger model, it's like, okay, of course that looks freaking amazing on you. But keep in mind the kind of feel that you already have. Like if you are someone that takes a lot of indoor pictures and it's a lot of yellow lights, you might want to stick to something that's warmer. If your skin tone, like me with platinum hair, I have like a pinky skin tone. So sometimes when I do those really white ones, I look dead. And it doesn't do me any favors. So you don't want to just like look at it and say, oh, I want this one, and it not work for you. Try to find something that like works for you, because if like for me, I take a lot of outside pictures with my kids. So like I'm always like, there's a lot of trees and a lot of green. So when I'm trying to do like blues and that ashy gray color, it doesn't really go great with the kind of feel that I have. So try to find something that actually just like enhances your photos, not just like, oh, that's a really pretty filter and Shay said to go get a filter, so I'm going to put a filter on it, because filters are our friend. And
not our enemies.
Not our enemy. So you don't want to, if Khloe Kardashian does it, that's great. But
you're just exactly.
Oh no.
I'm saying that's why I like the VSCO, because you can play around with it. You're not like set to just one thing. Like you can have up to 10 different presets with that app. So it's worth the $20. You buy the $20 and then create your own and switch it up. I might even switch mine tonight, guys. I'm feeling inspired.
I'm not gonna lie, I use VSCO. I still use that.
You still use that. Yeah.
I love it.
I personally am using a preset in my Lightroom for my Instagram currently, but I still like to use my VSCO for my Facebook because it's not like Instagram where like if you go to my Facebook, you look right at that, where I can like be more free, I guess you could say, with like choosing a different filter every time. I like to just play around with it. It's a great way to be creative. And so you don't have to be stuck in this box, right? And it can really accentuate your picture. And I always say this, when my picture looks good, it makes me feel happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when your page looks good, you feel good about it. You feel good about what you're presenting and it makes you happier. I just like it has a lot.
You can tell this is a very passionate place in your heart.
So
I think it's important to say too that when you're first getting started, this is the least of your worries. You're trying to develop a routine and some content and things like that. But as you develop in this business, this is your business. Like it's your business card. You're basically saying, trust me with that $200 that I'm requiring from you to purchase this product. The least you can do is look presentable and give a presentable look because this is our brick and mortar. If you think about it, your Instagram, as stupid as that sounds, is your brick and mortar. You didn't have to lay foundation. You didn't have to build walls. You didn't have to paint it. This is you constructing your brick and mortar how you want it to look, as if this was like your beauty salon you're setting up or whatever it is that you're building. And so your brand really does matter. And if you've been in this long enough to establish a routine on posting and stuff like that, then it's time for you to like have that kick in the butt to say, my pictures are really important. That might, if you're anything like me, I had a hard time because I was like, oh my gosh, like this, I don't like this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was like, it made me feel like I was being conceited or something. That's not true. It's not conceited. It's professional. And it's your view to the world. So like if I want to win you over and my outlet is an eye-catching outlet, then like how dare I not put the investment in the time to make it eye-catching? You know what I mean? It's just it goes hand in hand. We're working on social media. Social media wants pretty pictures. Pretty pictures help catch the eye. Get your preset.
Yeah. And not to like toot our horns or anything like that, but when Jess and I were at the Grant Cardone conference, there was a guy up there and seriously, he makes like 50 grand an hour just doing what like we're doing right now with you guys, because so many people need guidance and direction on how to make their page presentable, because Instagram literally and social media are our platforms right now. Like it's huge, it's everywhere. And so people don't know how to do that. And so they hire someone like a social media marketer or marketing person, and they pay a lot of money for them to come in and like tell them stuff. And when we were there, and this is what I'm saying, I'm like, I don't think I'm like the greatest at this, but I do think I have like a passion with it. Like I feel like I can see things and like I like doing this. But he said that he's like, he took people's websites and he's like, did it right there in front of everybody. And he's like, why do you have a picture of that? Like, that's not appealing to anyone. Nobody wants to see that. Like, people want to see eyes. People want to see your face. People are attracted to that bright colors, things like that, simplicity, but like bold and like all of that made sense to us because obviously we have been growing in that. But it's not that, like Jessica's saying, it's not like that we're being conceited. Like if your pictures don't look beautiful, it's that we know the gold here. The gold here is big, that you actually taking the time and the effort to do this and to find your rhythm with it is very, very profitable for you and your business. So that's why I've taken so much time with this. And this is why I continue to like go through, and I do this with my page constantly. And to be honest, I don't like my page right now. And it's because I feel like it's off in some way. And that's because I've gotten to the point where like I've like really do like see things. I don't know. This probably sounds like I'm crazy, but
Can I
moving,
answer another thing? Well, I'm trying to tag team off what you're saying.
I know we
If
were
you're a full-time worker or you have a lot of kids, and you feel like you're like, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming me, like just the conversation of it, you have to understand it's not that we do this every single day. Yesterday, I had my makeup done, right? So what did I do? I put 3 different shirts on. I went into 3 different locations and I took 15 pictures in 35 seconds. When I'm laying in my bed at night and I'm on Facebook just scrolling, I'll go to my Lightroom or whatever and I'll put the preset on all of them so that I have like 3 weeks of pictures just to pull from that one 35-second photo shoot. So you have to just think smarter. This isn't like your whole life is about getting dolled up and looking bomb and putting filters on everything. No, this is about like you just having access to content at all times because that's your job. Your job is a content creator. So if you have a day that you're out and about and your Thrive patch happens to be showing, or you have your makeup on, don't be afraid to go in your backyard with a black tank top, come inside, put a pretty shirt on, take another picture in front of the window, go into your living room. You get what I'm saying? Grab a shake bottle and hold it out. That's what we do. You don't have to have like your whole life committed to this. It can take literally seconds upon minutes. And the faster you get at it, you should be able to pop them out like no problem. And it's there. You know what I mean? You just have content in your phone available.
yeah, different jackets. Oh my gosh, Danielle, you're so funny. It's true. This is what, and if you've ever gone on a trip with me, you know I'm all about get the picture, okay? I don't care if we take 80 million pictures. We need content and we do it because where we're at, right? So we can use it. You don't have to post them all right then and there, but you want to take advantage of those times. And so when you start to get in the rhythm of doing this, it becomes so much easier. It actually takes away the stress of like, oh, I need to, find something that looks good, or does this filter match this? No, you got it under control. You know what goes with your theme or the look of your page at that time, and you can work with this. So that is what I wanted to start with, was presets, how to find a preset, how to create a preset. And figuring out, and guess what, you might create 5 different presets, and on the 6th one you're like, okay, that's the one. Put it with a couple different pictures, and then as always you can play around with exposure, which means you can make it brighter or lighter or darker depending on the light that you're using in that particular picture. So now that you've got your preset, right, well, how do I just like start posting, right? How do I start posting to make it like good, right? So what I personally did was I took 12. So my 12 Instagram photos. Now you can do this 2 different ways. You can just start using your new preset, right? You can just start using it and it's going to eventually push down. Or you can be like, hey, and do extra work and go out of your way to create this look. And I'm going to tell you guys this, whenever I do this, it boosts my algorithm, and I'm not even sure why. It makes no sense in the world, but I basically am reposting my post already that I've already posted, but I do it in like a day. And so you get like 12 posts in a row. And I think because that floods people's like timelines or whatever, people see so much of my page that it really truly just brings like new eyes or new faces on my page. But totally up to you. If you don't have time to do that, then don't do it that way. Just start posting your preset. Just start using pictures, and eventually when people come to your page, you're going to just see your preset, and then they'll, when they scroll down or whatever, they can see the transition. But that's very, very simple. Or you can do like I just said, and make things complicated and be crazy about it. But like I will go in and replace that picture and that quote or whatever the caption was and repost it again. And so two different ways. You don't have to do it the same way. Now moving on, does anybody have any questions about that? Because I want to move on to the next thing I use in my pictures. So if you go to my page right now, you're going to see that my background looks similar in almost every picture. And it's because I use a whitening part to an app. So because I want it to look very clean and clear and light, and because most of my house and like the places that I go to are very similar in color, so my background is usually the lighter color. My walls are actually like almost like a minty green, bluish color, but you won't see that in my pictures because with my preset, and then I actually go over it with whitener. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's the way I get my like everything to look very similar. So this is just something, like I said, extra that you can play around with. It's not something you have to do right this second, but it's something that I do. And I love how it like keeps my pictures all looking the same, if that makes sense. So what I use for that is called Facetune 2. That's the app that I use, Facetune 2. Now, I also use this app for other things like smoothing out my wrinkles if I wanted to, or if I have a blemish, or like if I want to like, you know, add vibrance to my photo or whatnot. I'm just being real with y'all, okay? Like, hello. I got to keep it real. So Facetune 2, like you can see, this is my picture from today. I went into this and I lightened my background area. See all this area? So when you open this app, you're gonna see there's buttons down here at the bottom here, right? You're gonna go to what it says retouch. Now I just pay for the normal app. I don't have any like upgrades. You can upgrade that and don't do too much. Listen, I'm just giving you all my tips, okay? You do what you want with it. I am extra as a person, but if it helps you, it helps you, right? You don't have to do what I'm doing, but I want this to, because people ask me all the time, so why wouldn't I share this, right? So this is what I do. I like it to be light and bright, and so I am going to take, what is happening? Sorry, something's happening with my computer. I'm gonna take and push this retouch button, and I'm going to whiten the background. And when I do that, it basically brings it all together. Like it's a white background, right? It makes it look the same for every picture, almost every picture. So if you went to my page, you would see that. You'd be like, oh, it's all very similar. Like everything is light and white in the background. It's not like a different look every time, okay? So I like that look, but like I said, if you're not doing whites or whatnot, I don't know if you guys can see that. So it looks that like that's the cohesive. That's really what brings my page cohesively together, is when I make sure my background is very similar. So I use the whitening on that. You can also use, there's another button on there in Facetune to use, is if you have people in the background, you know, and you don't want them in the background, or you've got your address in the background. Have you ever done that? There is a button that's called defocus, and you can actually just kind of go over your stuff with that. And like if you wanted to hide something in the background. Am I slowing down?
Are you okay? Shay? Uh-oh.
Okay, well,
Maybe
now
she
she
is
is.
slowing down. Um, oh no, I think she froze. I think what Danielle's saying is, you know, that picture of Steve Harvey where it's like some of you guys look like this on Instagram and he's like completely blurred out. Okay, if you use like a retouch, don't do that, okay? Because that don't look no like you want to look real. If you look
Don't
like
smooth your face too much.
exactly, if you look like you're ascending to heaven, you've gone too far. Take it back, okay? Because we want to like make our pictures look nice, but we don't want to not be ourselves and real. Guys, can we do a screenshot of Shay frozen like this? For sister payback, please. Oh no, I'm so giggly tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me. But so going off that, I would say that she's completely right. Your background also matters. So like I'm really bad at this, but sometimes I'll take a picture and like everything's a mess behind me. That doesn't like say like anything great. You know what I mean? Try to find blank spots. That's why I always go outside because there's no blank spots in my house because my kids destroy every ounce of it. Like right now I have a power washer in the back. That's not good. That's not good content, guys. Why is there a power washer in my office? Ask my husband. But like try to find like an open spot. I also wanted to point out while she was talking that some of you guys are this is gonna be the next like level for you, right? Is you see how she had like that really cool picture and she had like her Thrive patch here and she's like laughing like she's in a magazine, right? Okay, we're so used to just like taking a selfie, right? Like, hi, I'm the worst at this. I can't believe I'm actually teaching you guys on this because I only like take standard selfies basically. But sometimes you have to like, you got to take yourself to that level of uncomfortable because like when we say past your comfort zone, that means you're in your room like posing for a magazine when you're like got your pajamas on the bottom but you're only taking from like here up. So like you have to hold yourself in different ways. You got to hold your camera in different ways. You got to start learning. Danielle probably could talk on this because she's actually really, really, really great with her content. I will give you that, Danielle. Her booty popping needs a little work. No, I'm just kidding. But
Shut up.
like where she, you know, brings out that smile. I used to, when I was a hairdresser, they used to say this for brides getting ready for their wedding. They wanted to look natural, but we always told them we're going to put heavier makeup on you and it's going to look heavy when you look at it. But when you get your pictures back, you're going to look like a bride and it's going to show up and be pretty. It's the same when you go and get like your pictures done. You want to go heavier on your makeup so that it actually shows up because if you go too natural, the camera's not going to like respond. The same with your smiles. You almost have to pretend you're like over exaggerating and everything so that that smile shows up so energetic in a picture. You're trying to convey energy through a snapshot. That's hard. That's up to us to say, I'm excited right now. My picture is bright right now, not because we care about filters.
I want to say something that I'm not faking it.
Oh,
I'm actually usually laughing at my son or something, so that's when I capture it.
Do what?
So
She's
actually
not
find
faking
something.
it, guys. Just
Actually
me.
find something that's like around you that actually is funny, because like I don't know. Sometimes I can feel like you can feel like when someone's faking it too much. You know what I mean?
Is that
like,
a hit? Is that a dig?
I'm not saying you. No. And another thing is too, like you know, my feel for my page is like lots of blues and greens. That's what I try to go for. And so, you know, before I take a picture, I, you know, jump in front of a bush or something, you know what I mean? Or a tree or, you know, something that's green, grass, you know, or like whatever your feel of your background of your feed is, that's usually what I try to get in front of, you know what I mean?
And keep it that way. Like
Yeah.
own the greens. If you go to a blogger's page, which we don't ever have to like look like bloggers, but if you ever do, go look. If they have a blue feel, even if nothing in the picture is blue, they'll go grab a blue cup, right? Because it brands them. That's branding. When you see a bullseye red with like the little red dot, you think Target, right? When you see that little green, whatever it is, Queen or whatever, you think Starbucks. You know what I mean? Like it's a brand. They have established that color and that logo. This is your chance to brand you, not Lavelle, not Thrive. You. What's your brand? Danielle, hers is bright and smiley. There's very few pictures you're going to see Danielle like this. You know what I mean? Like, she's not like posing like that, because that's not Danielle. She's got a big ass smile on her face, and it's in her face. Barb, she is known. You know Barb by her decoration, her home, her inviting feel, that comfort, that cozy, right? When you see Barb's home, you like are wishing you're there, right? Because like that's how you know. When people go on Barb's page and all of a sudden she is in a, like the grass, you know, laying down, that's not Barb. You know, you think of her with her kitchen and the fields and the horses, you know what I mean? Like you get that vibe. That's the same thing for you. What's your vibe? What's your brand? How do people know you? Do they just know you because you take selfies? Or do they know you because it's like, that's the girl that always has the biggest smile on the page. That's the girl that always has, you know, that inviting home that she's bringing me into. That's the girl that shows up. Oh, Shay's back, guys. She was quiet in the corner. Did we lose you? Oh, she's muted.
Something happened with my computer and just like froze on me. So texted Austin. I was like, you better get this fixed, boy.
You gotta come home from work now. I was just trying to keep going with like content and the branding all together.
Yeah. What was I saying? Okay. Can you hear me still? I hate that I have to be on my phone because then I can't show you how to do things. But what I was going to tell you is that I use the app Preview. And I think this is a great thing for you to start using, especially starting out in, you know, trying to find what your look looks like or what you want it to look like. It's a great way you can play around with it. And the way that you do it is by this app, which I can't show you right now, but that's okay. And what it does is it allows you to put your photos in, and it looks like your Instagram grid. So you can actually play around. You can move your pictures around, which I think is so cool, because I even use this to this day. Because like Jess was saying, if you've got blue in one picture, and then like, how will you bring that in? And so you can kind of pick and choose some pictures. And this is what I will do. I'll go through and I'll take, you know, several pictures in one day, right? And then I will preset them or get them the way I want them to look. And then I put them all into this grid that you have on Preview. And when you do that, you can like hold down the button and you can move them around, almost like you're playing like a little game of Tetris in a sense, but it allows you to see how it looks and what that, you know, is it cohesive? Is it what you're wanting? Is it going to show your audience what you're wanting to show them? Is it going to look like you have 7 selfies all in a row? Or is it separated by different things? Are you showing your 5 things? And this is, I talk about this all the time, but that's how I keep with my 5 things, my rhythm. Is it showing my business? Did I show my business yet? Has it been a while since I showed my DFT? Or have I shown my kids? My kids are a part of my life, my husband, you know, different things. Whatever your 5 things are, this app allows you to kind of play around with that, so that you're previewing it before actually putting it together on Instagram. So it's, yes, it's an extra step, but to me, it pays off, because it gives you, like, you know how, this is when I get so mad, because like when you do, what is it that it's called? The Instagram TV, you know how it, like you post it, but it won't let you kind of move your picture the right way. Like today, seriously, I posted one and all it was is of my legs. And I was like, seriously, what? But you know, that's how it can be sometimes if you're not familiar, if you're not sure of what you're posting. And so I love that the Preview app kind of gives me the opportunity to do that and move it around and stuff like that. 3 posts a day and you use it. Yeah. So that's something that you can use, and it kind of allows you, especially if you're looking, you know, maybe you've never done a preset before and you want to play around with different ones that you created. that's how I would do it. That's what I suggest because it allows you to kind of see it and you can be like, okay, that's the look I wanted. Oh, that's what I wanted to bring out. Or like, Danielle was saying, like she's more blues and greens. So like she's going to make sure that that's popping in every picture. Whereas like I just told you guys, like I do a lot of white backgrounds and stuff. So I want to make sure. And then the other thing I like to put in my picture is blacks. So blacks and whites, but also like, what does it look like? And that's an app that I really think is so helpful when you're starting out. And even for myself now, I love using it. So that's really what I wanted to talk about. Just, do you want to share like exactly like what you use and stuff if you want to share about that?
Um, well, I kind of use the same. I do a preset in Lightroom. I think Etsy is the cheapest. You can get like $2 ones. To me, I have invested up to $40 in them and I did not look like the blogger afterwards. So I will say go cheap at first and work your way up because you don't have to be professional. Start somewhere. I think sometimes we get overwhelmed, so we quit. That's my kind of like, I get really like overwhelmed where if you're like, you have to curl your hair and look beautiful every day. I'm just like, I quit, forget it. Like I get like, if you tell me too much, you know what I mean? I can only process so much information at one time. So for me, my like first rule of thumb is start somewhere. So getting a $2 preset is still a preset. I had to play around because what I noticed is like, because I have like white hair and very white skin, I can't just play with every preset. So like I have to find one that works. So when I'm paying $2, I don't feel like I'm wasting that much if I have to go through like 4 of them to find that one that I really like. So I think Etsy is a really good place to start. And there's some too that like are like buy 2 get 3 free and stuff. So like you can really play around. I do say too, like getting an established routine, like Shay's saying, if you use the preview app. I don't personally use the preview app, but I will say that if I post a picture, I go right back to my Instagram page and I look at it as its entirety. And if it doesn't fit, I will literally archive it right then and like wait till I have something better, because almost like what she would do in preview, I probably should get the app is what I'm trying to say, to eliminate that problem. But it is important because if you have like, sometimes I'll do a selfie and I'm kind of leaning toward the left and then it's like the next picture I'm like this. I literally look like I'm just like having a conversation with myself because you know, like we're setting up a different way. So you have to be kind of strategic. And like Shay said with the 5 things, that's what I try to do. Okay, I haven't posted me and my husband in a while, so I'm going to do that. And then it's going to be a selfie, a close-up. Then it's going to be one of me further away. Then it's going to be me with someone else, like my mom or my kids. Or I'm going to showcase different things in each picture so that I kind of is going with the feed. I also use VSCO. I technically use a cheap preset off Etsy, like I said, on Lightroom. I don't remember like where I got it from, but I can drop the info later, which basically just brightens it. And then I go to VSCO. It's my tried and true. It's like that bluish gray right now that I'm doing simply because when we went to Mexico, the colors were like blue. So that's why I'm doing it, but I probably will be changing it soon. But A5 in VSCO is my favorite. So like once a year I go back to it because it's just, I love it. So those are the colors you're seeing on my page right now. And then like Shay said, trying just to make it look cohesive because it really is important. Your bio is important. All of it's important. Your profile is important. If you go to your page right now, this is why I do Facebook checks sometimes. If you go to your page right now and your profile picture is dark, you're basically saying you're close. Like it doesn't stand out. I know that sounds harsh, but when you have to think people are scrolling hours a day. Look how many they're seeing. You know how fast we scroll? That you're telling me that picture better pop, because if not, this is what we're doing. People are on their couch and they're just like this until something pops. So that's why we say it's important. That's why your content is important. But why your picture is important is because that's the first thing that they're going to stop to read your caption for. So you can have the best caption in the world, but if your picture is too dark and they just slide by it, they're never going to see that caption. if your house doesn't offer it, my house was really gold. It still kind of is. I have a lot of like dim lighting, not a lot of natural light in here. But I had Brandon go and get cool light bulbs and change some of them so that it does not give me that fluorescent look as much. So that, as you can see, it's kind of like a cooler tone in my office and different rooms in our house so that it could help counteract that fluorescent, just so I can have a more clear, more brighter picture. And then let's see, what else do I use for pictures? That is actually basically it. I'm pretty simple on my Instagram. I filter it and post it. If you don't have time, like Rebecca said, putting 3 in a row the night before, seeing what they look like, having your posts ready so you can just pop them on is really great. If you're a really busy mom that like just can't pull away for that 3 to 5 minutes to concentrate, I would suggest you doing that, because if you're anything like me, at night when you go to get in your bed, there's always like an hour of downtime, right? That you're like Facebook, playing, shopping, something. Like I always have to unwind. That's the time to say, let me get 3 posts up tomorrow, and put some captions. I also, this is not on pictures, Shay, but if you go to my notes section, it's not organized at all, but these are all statuses. I will save them for, some of these are probably 3 years old from another company, and I still might use something out of them. Like there might have been a quote that I really quote, like that I love that I said. I said something, yes, last year we were going to Texas for Thrivepalooza. So sad. And it said like, I didn't save that one, but it was a really good quote that I had. I was like, dang, that was good. But
We're
not
no
only
longer the dreamers, we're now the achievers. Is that it?
no, it was like, I'm just, I can't remember it, but it was a really good line, one I not like had heard before. I made it up.
You
But
better save it.
what I will say is I make statuses when I have time, so that when I don't have time, guess what? Listen, I'm scrambled. My house is a wreck. I go to my pictures. I already have my preset. So when I go to my pictures too, like, hold on. I'm usually like posting. So like I have my VSCO album. That's all my, this is not the right album, guys. I don't know where it's at, but I'll just like pick it up and I'll look at what pictures I have to choose from, and I'll go copy and paste one of the notes that I have, because I already have content available. If I'm in charge of content, guess what? Whenever I have 5 minutes, I'm creating content. If I'm not posting it then, I'm posting it 2 days from now, 3 days from now. Now, I won't lie, I'm not normally like that, but I have a whole list if I ever need it, because I tend to like have a moment and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's on my heart. That's what I want to say right now. And so like, I will just say it in that moment. But if you're really, really busy, like that's what you need to be doing. You need to be finding some time to just put some thoughts together, even bits and pieces. It's almost like writing a book. If you have a good quote, write it down. If you have some bullet points of like a status that you really liked, keep that and start mix matching some of your stuff together. But no, that's really it. And then the only other thing would be stories. I think your stories are just as important as your feed, if not actually even more important now. Don't underestimate the power of one extra step in that story. So when you take an Instagram story, sometimes I'll use Instagram and a filter on Instagram, and then I will save it. And I will go and write something over it. And then when I go back on Instagram, I might swipe another filter on top of it. I might like add 3 filters to it to make that slide pop, because I want them to see it in the midst of the sea of stories they're seeing. You know what I mean? I want it to look different than everything else they're seeing. You have to catch their eye. So if you're just another face talking, if it's just you're another one of those, it's not to be mean. It's just that you want to, I'm not a pro at stories either, so I shouldn't really be talking. But like, for instance, if you're watching this, I'll see this is on a filter. You can choose like different filters. So I've accidentally didn't choose a filter. So like, I'll take that picture and then I'll swipe it over. That Paris will brighten your picture like that. I always swipe Paris over. So as soon as I take it, and then I will save that. And even if I'm not writing anything over it, I will X out of that, swipe up, put that picture on, swipe again. Guess what? You just have a wicked bright story that's going to look a lot different because nobody's taking the 2 extra seconds to save their picture like us crazies. But we have something that's going to pop a little bit more. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and it doesn't have to be Paris. You can double filter on any of these and it's going to really just give it that extra pop of color. So that's all I have. Any questions? I'm taking questions now. So if you guys have anything.
Can I add something?
Oh, Candace wants to talk.
Candace? Oh my God, okay, never mind. Forget it.
It's new to
I
the
just
trip.
shut up. I just want to say, we all started like in the beginning. I didn't even like take selfies. I didn't take, I wasn't secure of like taking selfies. I wasn't taking pictures. I wasn't going out of like my way. And like my filters, if you scroll down my page, it was not cute. From right now, it was not cute. But my biggest thing, I know a lot of you have already heard about this, but my biggest thing is what I found out about is this. You set up your phone anywhere, and this is a Bluetooth button, and it will take your picture anywhere. This is literally my, like, saving grace. I'll literally set up my phone in the bushes. I'll set it up on, like, a wall. I'll set it up on, like, car or something. And this is how I take my pictures, you know what I mean? So I'm not taking selfies anymore, you know what I mean? I'm going above and beyond a little bit more, and this is like life right here.
Danielle, can you put the link in our team thread tonight?
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't even have one of those.
Because I need one of those.
It actually comes up. It comes in a pack too. You can get the button by itself, or it comes with like a tripod. And it's amazing. So that's my little thing.
Oh, hers came.
Yeah,
Yes, with your ring light, you can get one. Actually, just kidding. Mine did come with one.
I don't have one of those little buttons, but I just do use the iPhone timer.
Yeah, my thing is like, you have to be ready, you know what I mean? But like this button is like amazing. Like you can just like sit and you're like, you're ready, you know what I mean? And you're just boom, you're ready already. You don't have to already like relaxed, you know what I mean?
If you guys could have saw me today, now that we're talking about that, because I had to put my phone far away, but then I had to get into like a position on the
See what I'm
floor.
saying? Like you have to be already like set in
Jessica
position.
needed
Not,
that
like, relaxed.
today.
I needed that button today, dude.
But my thing is too is like don't compare your pages to everyone else's. Like some of our pages may look really clean and nice and stuff, but we didn't start there at all.
Start somewhere. That's the name of the game tonight, because and that's what Kay's trying to say is she's developed this over the time, because what you did what Shay?
Oh, I thought something happened to the baby.
Oh, I was like,
she's running away from me.
Is that you have to just start somewhere. That's why I'm saying get a cheap preset, put it on, get a better lighting situation, work with that, work with the trees in your backyard if that's all you have. Like you don't have to be a model, but you do have to present yourself the best that you can. And every day you should grow. I remember even Brielle's page. I remember the conversation we had where I was like, you're a bright personality. Why are your pages so dim? Like you need to be brighter. Do you remember that? Because I'm like, you're exuding joy, but your pictures aren't. And so like the disconnect was there. So every day you grow a little bit more, where it's like, I didn't say that to her day one. Are you kidding? I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of you, even though the picture was dark as hell. No, I'm just kidding. But like, you know what I mean? Like that's not our worry in the beginning. But as she started to develop and have content, I was like, you need to brighten up your pictures. You need to match your brand now. So that's what I think the end of this is. But any other questions, or are we good?
I was laughing today because when I started, I used Snapchat filters. And I'm like, and stuff. I'm like,
Butterflies.
serious. I'm not even joking. But that's what I knew about filters. I just knew they were on Snapchat.
Mhm.
So we've definitely evolved over here a little bit. But like we're all saying, it takes time. Don't get yourself overwhelmed. Start small. Use that preview app to kind of help you and guide you so that you can play around with it before you decide on like what you want to do. And yeah, just brighten it. Brightening, is that a word? Brightening is going to help it that much more. So if you can just start brightening your photos and then get into a preset and then kind of go from there, you're going to see a difference in your page and you're going to feel very happy about it. And so, yeah, I think that's all we really wanted to talk about tonight. I hope this was helpful. And I know that, you know, as we have our teams growing, that this is going to be something that we can tag them in and have them watch so that they can kind of learn more about that as we go. So, you good, Jess? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being on, and we hope you have a good night.